Welcome to the Bass and Brews podcast, your weekly distraction from other high-quality podcasts. And now, your host, Alex from Swamp Rat Fishing, and the co-hostess with the mostest, the Jabberhammer, Paul Roberts.
I specifically said to make sure that you're on point, because this is for like fancy people, Paul. And what do? You give the hooty hoo during the intro, and now you're muted. There you go.
The intro was made for us to talk towards the last few seconds of it, and we haven't. So I figured I'd start something new tonight, since this is I'm so pumped. This is the 2023 kickoff Queen City Kayak Bass Fishing Tournament recap, hosted by Bass and Brews podcast, fishing podcast. I can't even remember
Hold
that
on,
long ago. That was the longest name in the world.
Paul, that name is fucking atrocious. I thought we decided I'm the idea man, because I'm pretty sure this should be called the Queen City Chronicles. Yes, we'll do it that way. I think that sounds way better than the giant mouthful, which has never been said about you ever.
The Queen City Chronicles is wonderful, and we are kicking off 2023 with the tournament that we just had this past weekend, and we've got two wonderful participants on tonight, and I'm excited to have them on. They caught fish and they won money. What else could you ask for?
Well, Paul, honestly, here's what I could ask for when I was looking through the standings. Because when we first kind of arranged this deal, we do have some super fans, I'd like to call them, out of this kayak trail. And I was like, man, it almost seems like we're biased. But no, we're not, because the Bass and Brews historian, Tori, caught a whopping 2 fish and got 65th. So that's pretty awful, Tori.
There were 130-something people in this tournament, though.
There were, and we can even go farther down to where Hands-On Adventures, Dustin, I love you, big guy. You got 1/16 with 0 fish. So there will be no bias. I'd really love, for all of Tori's clout chasing and squirrel hands, she did not make the show. And hopefully she steps it up, because at this point, we're just going to have to bring her in as a special guest. Even the hubby, she beat the hubby. Ryan got in at 94th with 1 fish. So,
hey, this is why the two guys we have on tonight is super special, because either you caught them or you didn't. And it's Lake Norman, and for the folks that understand the fishery at this time of year, it is a spot fishery. And it was obviously tough. So I'm excited to hear how Wes and Jaxton here caught them to get where they were and to win some money. Because, man, you go from 2 fish, got you, in the 50th percentile. Woo, it must have been rough out there. I'm telling you. Well, look, let's get it started. Enough of our back and forth with this jibber jabber. We have tonight Jaxton or Wes Richardson. How are you fellows doing tonight?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it looks like Jaxton's in a prison cell now. For those that are listening and not watching, he's got an electrical outlet with a cover plate on it and some cinder block walls. In a window. It looks like he's in a prison cell.
Listen, he did so well, they locked him up. I don't know what to tell you.
Look, hey, if they gonna lock anybody up to keep it from doing well, it's gonna be Mr. Orr.
Yep, no, the dorm life is real here at Carson Newman.
We talked about this in the pre-show or the green room. Like, not only have we recorded from a Motel 6, now we've got a guest recording from a dorm. So this is amazing.
Wonderful. Wes, how you doing, Hoss?
I'm doing good, man. I don't have all those plaques people normally hang up in the background, so I just put a couple fishing poles behind me, so it kind of looks like I know what I'm doing.
You can't see them.
I'm in my bedroom. Oh, you can't. Oh.
No.
Hey,
still
that is
can't
a nice
go the other
sleigh
way.
bed.
They're there.
Yeah.
No, go the
nice
other way.
Sleigh bed.
Okay,
you
we can
go.
kind of see them. There it is.
Yeah.
Nice sleigh bed you got there too. I
Yeah.
do
Thanks,
like
man. Yeah. Goodwill, I think.
Hey, that's okay. Alex nor I have any plaques to put up behind us either. So the only one that could actually put
Hey.
oh Lord. The only one that could put something up behind him that mattered is Jaxton. And he's in a dorm room, so the walls can't
He doesn't even
contain-
get an electrical outlet. That thing's
I
covered
know,
over.
they cover it
Now,
up.
I gotta say, I got me a little hardware. Okay, I've been
All
just
right,
sleeping
all
with it
right.
under my pillow for now. You know what I mean? Until I get used. Not ready to depart. You know, I got to keep it with me. So.
Uh-oh, shit.
There
My
he is.
bad. Sorry. I hit a button. See,
You're
Alex is back and I'm still messing up technically.
Well, actually, Paul, I think you did it properly. So we'll start with Jaxton. He's in that first spot because he actually did better than Wes.
You know what? He showed up to the ramp without an ID card.
Yes,
Oh,
that
yes.
saved me.
Who gave Jaxton his ID card?
Yeah.
A little plastic bag and all this shit. You know,
His
I was
mom.
like, here you go.
We've already figured out
His
he's
mom.
so young. His mom had to come down, drop his lunch, and his ID off.
I said,
Yep.
if you win some, I get credit for some of it. And I didn't know.
Wes-
I didn't know who
Wes
it
did
was.
save me in the morning, tournament morning. He gave me, I think, 3 or 4 IDs, so I had them all.
What?
That is all. Look, this is great. Jaxton, this is not your first tournament either. Like you have won just about everything on the main the national trails of kayak fishing, and you show up without an ID.
Well, I
happened
texted Vinny. I texted Vinny the night before. I read the rules and everything. I just didn't. I guess I didn't see the part where you had to have the Queen City ID. I was just kind of thinking you could write it down on a piece of paper.
Oh,
So he
oh.
put me in a group chat with Wes, and in the morning, we got there pretty early, and Wes gave me those identifiers and saved me big time.
I mean, to recap, Jaxton, what place did you get?
I got second.
Second, yeah. And Wes, what did you get?
Third. I'm just
Third.
kidding. I got ninth. I got ninth.
Place.
I got ninth.
Yeah, but you could have moved up a spot if you would have not given Jaxton the ID card.
Hindsight.
And Jaxton, you know Vinny, you know damn well that you had to have some Queen City ID card.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
yeah.
So Jaxton, have you fished Queen City before, or is this your first tournament that you fished with them?
This is actually the first one. I was gonna fish the one at Hartwell when the Hobie BOS went there, but I don't know why I didn't. I should have, but I just didn't enter the tournament. So this was my first one.
Are you planning to fish like Jordan Marshall and fish a bunch of Queen City, or you just hopped into one just to get that rust off in the first tournament of the year?
This was actually my second tournament of the year. I'm going at it pretty hard this year. So because last year I wasn't able to travel due to some health issues. But I'm going to try to fish all the Queen City events that I can if it works in my schedule. But I mean, Queen City, it's
Sorry,
awesome
Wes.
trail. It's an awesome trail. And I mean, it reminds me of a national trail. I mean, it basically is. I mean, there's so many people from, I mean, South Carolina, North Carolina, and then a few people come over from different states. I mean, and it's ran like a national trail, really.
Yeah, the way that Vinny runs that trail is it's remarkable. What's most remarkable is the amount of people that come out to fish that every tournament. I think last year they averaged 125 people a tournament. As a local grassroots trail, we've talked about it before, so we won't re-harp on it much. But that's badass. I mean,
I'll re-harp on it. I'll re-harp on it, Paul. I looked at the standings and I was expecting, like, I've got a pretty semi-competitive trail in my area, right? It makes up 30 guys and gals. But I went to go to Tourney X. You sent me the link and I was like, holy cow. There was a ton of people for an early February tournament. Insane. And you start looking at some of the names, and I'm not a huge tournament guy, but I'm trying to do my homework, and there's so many good sticks on this trail. It is absolutely insane. All the people that are just incredible. It's definitely an underlooked trail, I feel like.
Well, it is and it isn't. But the other thing too is the weather wasn't great. It was cold as hell. I mean, when y'all launched, what were y'all at, like 21 or 22
I
degrees?
was at 22, I think. Is where
22.
I was.
Yeah, it was pretty cold, and especially Friday when I went there to practice. I mean, the wind was terrible. Like I took out and I was gonna launch again, and I launched, but I didn't go to where I wanted to go because it was so dang windy.
Oh yeah, and Norman's a big lake for at least us here in the Carolinas. This is a big wide open lake, so when the wind blows, it ain't you know it it isn't Santee bad, but Norman, when the wind blows, you gonna get some gnarly ass waves up in there.
Did you
Yeah.
try to country up that sentence? It
I don't know.
didn't. Yeah, it sounded like you were trying to country it up.
I mean, whatever comes out my mouth, country. If I try to uncountry it, that's usually where I mess up. All right. So Jaxton, tell us, you got into town to fish a little bit on Friday, it sounds like. Didn't sound like you got to fish much. Did you have any idea what you were gonna do when you got in to start, or what did it look like for you when you were rolling up?
Yeah, so I guess I left Carson Newman. It was like 4:30 or 5 in the morning, and it was like a 3.5 hour drive. I got to the launch. We're actually launching tournament morning, and I mean, I was kind of I was looking for warmer water just because I knew. I mean, I was obviously closer to where the warmer water would be, and once I found some decent warmer water compared to the main lake, I kind of just looked around and I saw like 22 to 25 pounds in fish just roaming around. And I caught one that I didn't see during practice. And then I was actually fishing a Ned rig at the time, and I just cut my hook off. And I made sure that when I saw those fish, I can go up to them, pitch to them if they didn't see me, and catch them. And I mean, they were eating. Like I saw like biggest spot I ever seen, 7.5 pounds. I mean, it was a giant. But I mean, that's kind of what I did during practice and fished till about it was probably noon. I think I got off the water.
Wes, same question to you, man.
Yeah, we so I live right down the road from Norman, so I was out there I think 4 times in a week and a half. And 2 days I caught like 65 to 70 inches, something like that. And then next day it was one fish, 13 inches. Next day was one fish, 13 inches. So it was like, you know what? I'm just going to go out there, stick to what I know. I did kind of similar plan to Jaxton, try to find some warmer water. And yeah, I found the fish, and it was cold. God, it was cold. So a lot of people think, when I got out there, a lot of people think, fishing, you just throw your line out there and you catch a fish. But for me, a lot of it's that mental game. And when I was in the Army, I purposely joined the Army so I could go through basic training in the summer. I did not want to be out there in the winter because I knew I was not going to make it. You know what I mean? So I get out there, and I even went on Amazon. I'm showing my cards here. I got these electronic heated gloves out there, right? And they're like Santa Claus gloves. And I missed 2 fish because I'm over here like trying to reel instead of hook. But I was miserable. But I had like 7 layers on. But yeah, like I said, it was one of those things like they're either going to be there or they're not. I try to think back if I did anything different specifically. And there was 2 times when I was on the water that I changed what I was doing and moved to a different location. And one of those changes got me a 19.5. The other one got me 17.75. But I really just stuck with everything I've been doing in practice. The fish were just there. So.
All right. So one of the things that y'all both said, side note, when they're talking about the inches of fish that they're catching, it's a 4 fish limit. So when you hear 65, 70 inches, that's for 4 fish. That's not for 5. Both of y'all said you were looking for warmer water. Jaxton, what did you do before you got there? Because you don't live there, obviously. You're 3.5 hours away.
Yeah, who'd you talk to, Jaxton?
Yeah, so
what were y'all doing to find the warmer water? What were you looking for?
Obviously, the first thing I did was look at YouTube videos and stuff, and research Lake Norman because I had no clue. I've never fished Norman before, and then one of my buddies on the team has actually fishes Norman quite a bit past couple of years, so he kind of helped me out on like where the warmer water is at and stuff. So that helped me a lot to break down the lake a little bit. And I mean, once I did find that warmer water, I mean, they were there. They weren't in the warmer water like all around, but there's like certain areas where they'd stay in.
Were you looking for any outflows? Or are you looking for creeks coming in? Like what was the warmer water? What was the warm water that you made go there?
I guess for me, like it was weird. Like in the morning, I think the creeks were warmer than the main lake. That's kind of my experience. And then as the day went on, I've noticed that the main lake was actually warmer than the creeks. So it's kind of like, I wish I would have noticed that in practice, because I would have left that creek a little earlier during the day. But I mean, that's just kind of my experience, I guess.
Wes, as a local, how do you find warmer water? What are you looking for to make it warmer?
You're looking for somebody's gonna watch this and they're gonna eat me alive. I can't give away all the local secrets, right? But
the tournament is over.
That's
over.
what they say.
It's
I saw
over.
a post the other day on Facebook, but y'all quit sharing posts. You're ruining it for everybody. I'm like, whatever.
It's
But anyway,
fucking over. Yeah.
We're not asking for coordinates. We're just asking for what makes.
Actually, I total side note, I just got a text from Tori, Dustin, and Ryan. They would like waypoints and actual specifics, because they obviously
know.
can catch fish.
They know. For the locals, it's been explained to me. I know there's at least one power plant that dumps warmer water into the lake. All you got to do is find the ramps that are closest to it, and it's no secret, Tourney morning, I got there. You can launch it. What was it 7:30? We could take off, Jaxton.
Yeah, 7:30 and first casting bait.
Yeah, so 7:15, I'm sitting there ready, right? And I'm like, I got to get my practice spots or whatever. And when we headed out, there's like 20 kayaks that just passed me, just 20 of them. And I'm just sitting there like trying to pedal with my 8 layers on. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting anywhere. And I'm like, somebody's going to take my practice spot. So it's no secret. I mean, there's 20 of us that right there. Yeah. But it's one of the people that were talking, the people I talked to, they were like, you can live by the hot water, you can die by the hot water. So there's other people that shot out mid lake, but I think it just paid off. I think it just paid off that day.
Yeah.
So.
Did y'all have any presentations or lures dialed in, or was it kind of go out and junk fish and see if they're biting slow or fast?
Yeah, Jaxton, what'd you catch them on?
So for me during practice, I just had a Ned rig. I mean, I haven't been able to fish a Ned rig, in a while. That's in Indiana, where I usually, fish a lot when I go home. The Ned rig's kind of a killer there. So It was nice to finally be able to use it during practice. But since I got off the water early, I kind of like brainstormed about everything and kind of saw what the fish were doing, where they were. And I decided that I was going to start out with a Ned rig. And then I ended up actually catching, I think, almost all my fish on tournament day on a wacky rig.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Really shallow.
And then once I figured out the main lake had warmer water than the creek I was in, I ended up going on scope and catching them.
Were they holding to wood?
They were holding. Yeah, it was like they were holding to. I mean, obviously they were holding to like hard bottom, but if you could find a stump or two, I mean, there'd be a fish there. It's just like it was if you could catch them or not, or how big they were going to be, really was the factor.
How shallow were you running the scope? Hold on, because he said he was running scope. How shallow were you running that scope?
During the afternoon, I was anywhere from 6 feet to I think 20 feet. Just kind of scoping around, looking. But I should have moved a lot earlier. That was a mistake I made.
Wes, how about you? What were you presenting to them fishes?
Well, I'm a big Biz Baits True South guy. They're a big sponsor of Queen City. Yeah,
everybody, every local of Queen City is a Biz Baiter.
Yeah, Brian takes care of us, so we appreciate you, Brian. It was during practice. It was a mix between shaky head, some variation of green, or like a green with like a red flake is about as crazy as I went with shaky head. And I used a heavier weight when the wind picked up on turning day, just so I felt like I had a little more control. But practice, I caught about half of them on a crankbait though.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like a 10 to 12 crankbait, but I couldn't get anything.
It's a huge difference come turning day. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't get anything. But the shaky, when that wind picked up, I mean, it was almost like I didn't even have to let that thing touch the ground sometimes. I mean, they were just hammered. They were running. They were grabbing it. And there was a couple times I'm posting a video Friday, but you'll see me. I'm just sitting there spinning the fish has got his mouth. It's coming to me. It's running with it. I don't even know what's on it. And then by the time I realize it, makes for that nice hook set. So.
Were you throwing it at targets, structure, wood, rock, anything like that, or was it just kind of?
Yeah, on the so the area that I fish, it's one of the closest ramps to the house. Super familiar with. It's one of those spots I don't even have to take my electronics with me. I just know the depth changes and stuff. But on practice, I found them at a laydown, and it was like 5 or 6 laydowns, and they were there on tourney day. Some of them were right there at the top of the laydown. And so there's all this stuff saying the water had dropped in this and the laydowns are going to be up in the banks. And they weren't. They were in the water. So I caught a couple of them right at the tip of the laydown or maybe 10, 15 foot out. That was the majority of them. And then on the way back, it was about an hour left. I said, let me go back to the docks that I like to fish. And there was a huge rocky point. I always fish it. And I pulled in 14. Next cast was 14 1/4. I needed 14 1/4 or 14 1/2 to cull, and then 3 or 4 casts later, I caught 17 3/4. But it was that rocky point, and then the laydowns is where I caught all my fish.
If you ever talk to anybody from Queen City, or listen to a podcast with a Queen City person on it, and they talking about Norman, your ass gonna fish a dock or 100 at some point in the day.
Docks, rocks, and drops. Yeah,
there you go. You're gonna do it. Were you using any? It sounded like you didn't bring any grass. You said you were close to the house. You knew what it was like. No live.
I did.
No
sonar. Okay. Yeah. I actually got Active Target a couple months ago, and I thought you just cut it on and go out there and you do like the Bass Pros. There's your lure. Oh hell no! No, I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I can point it and see fish, but I can't point it and throw my lure and see fish and my lure at the same time. So it's taking a little bit of. You can figure it out real easy, drop it beside you and just walk. But I feel like even without a graph, you can catch a fish like that eventually. So I'm still working on it, but I can see them. I know enough to see them where they're there to not make my ass stand there 3 hours casting at nothing, if that makes sense. So that's been a little bit of an advantage for me, but I'm still just brand new to it. I can see when they're there and I throw in that general direction across my fingers, but the graph didn't help me. That's the thing about the graph. People say, oh, they need to take that out of the sport and this and that. I tell you what, I've seen guys go out there and stick to that graph so much they miss out on the stuff that they know, that their own confidence. Like every fish that I caught, I knew laydowns. I caught them in practice. I didn't look at my graph and catch those fish. I knew that rocky point. I caught every single fish on tourney day without my graph. So I like it because it shows when the fish are there and you're just not wasting time. But other than that, like I said, I'm a little newer to it. So
there's the difference between second and night is knowing how to fish your forward facing. And knowing that there are fish are there, but not knowing how to fish it. Yeah. Because Jaxton sounded like he found them and was able to catch them and getting there. But hey, you can't catch fish where fish ain't. If you can see them on forward facing sonar, you know that they are there right there.
That was the worst John Madden take. You can't catch fish where fish ain't. Thanks, Paul. Thanks, Paul.
Look,
Thanks, Paul.
There's not many. You were too short to play football, so you can't use football.
You were a punter. Shut up. But anyways, Wes.
And you were the size of the football, so
All right, Wes. A lot of people love kayak fishing for like the community aspect of it, right? Like everybody getting together. I know this was your guys' first tournament of the year. You got any community stories? Like what was your favorite part of the event for that? Like getting to see new people, old people, watching Dustin hands-on adventure skunking, any of that.
I don't know. I think probably what was the craziest part for me is we all see each other online, we talk online, but the only time we really see each other is on the water. You know what I mean? and it's a huge club. And since I joined Queen City, I was just looking to kill some time. I've been fishing all my life, but I just started bass fishing about 1.5 years ago. But man, the community itself is just, I don't know, it's just filled this little spot, but like tourney day, we get out there and there's 20, 30 kayaks out there. Everybody knows who everybody is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's not that you did anything special. You don't even have to be great. Everybody just kind of knows everybody, and they take care of, they take care of each other. So, I mean, I fall in love, and I've reached out to Vinny and I've told him that, they do a lot of work for charity, but I think Queen City does a lot more for people that, people just don't see, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
It makes a ton of sense. And for me being in this, so I'm in Raleigh, about 3 hours away. But one of the things, I got into this a few years ago, but one of the things that I found with Queen City, and I fished one tournament, two tournaments. They had the Jordan tournament last year, and then the bass qualification. But one of the things that I saw really quickly was how folks in that the Queen City tour, as I like to call it, somebody's having a hard time or they're new, folks will reach out to them and be like, "Hey, let's go." We had a bide fishing Josh on, and short, after he had been on, he'd been having some problems tournament fishing. He's not gonna give this shit up. And 4 or 5 people reached out to him, and he met up, fished with some people, and he learned and he started doing better. There's one thing about that club that is super, super cool is those folks will reach out and they'll help and they'll work with each other. And for the most part, nobody has any problems. Like when somebody wins, everybody's all happy and excited. And speaking of the community, there's the weigh-in, but the LinkedIn, as I like to call it, it's the LinkedIn. We ain't weighing nothing. There's a ton of people at the LinkedIn. Like people actually go to the award ceremony. That's huge. That's crazy.
Cool. Yeah. Now, if I skunk on a tournament, I might not show up, but yeah, most times I'll be there for support. If one of my buddies won, I'll go. But,
yeah. You go pat him on the back and talk shit.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's my sister. In the South, my
wait,
sister.
Is that your sister who got you this fancy influencer light that you have on now?
No, that's the other sister.
Oh, okay.
This sister ain't give me nothing but like heart problems.
You got a sister Daryl and another sister Dale.
What?
Never mind. You don't get the joke. Anyways, it might be.
It was a terrible joke if I didn't get it. Terrible.
It's got to be. Jaxton, as your first time, you said this is your first time fishing a Queen City one, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you feel any of that community a little bit as a newcomer coming in? I know Wes hooked you up with it sounds like waypoints, baits, techniques, and an ID card. Other than that, did you feel the community love?
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I think I signed up Thursday morning or something like that, or Thursday afternoon. And like within minutes of me signing up, Vinny reached out to me and was like, thank you for signing up. Like, and I was like really looking forward to it, and got on the water Friday and practiced, obviously, talked to some people at the ramp. I've never, I haven't seen too much and never met before. And that, I don't know, afternoon or night, I had some questions, or Vinny reached out to me, asked if I had any questions, and I asked him a few things, and that's when the whole identifier thing came up. And gratefully, Wes
could have been 8th. He could have been.
Yeah,
8th.
he saved me. He had identifiers.
And
was
the wrong damn code on it for you or something. Hey, I wrote your code on for you, bud.
But yeah, no, it was a great experience, and I really like that trail, and I'll definitely fish more events for sure. It's a great community.
Jaxton, did you have any some weird or crazy anything kind of happen outside the norm on practicing or tournament day that kind of stood out to you? Maybe any premonition, good or bad?
Yeah, I mean, tournament morning, I was a little nervous because I haven't fished a big tournament. It's been since last May, I think. So it's been a while, and I got out there, got all my nerves out and everything, and I don't know. It was first 4 or 5 minutes. I caught like a 19 and a quarter, and I was like, okay, like they're here. I had this point where like they were there kind of. I guess I did scope a little in the morning on that point, and then I don't know. It wasn't too long after that I made another cast with a wacky rig, and I lost the biggest spot I ever hooked right at the boat. It was tough because it was like right at the net. It was probably 22 inches. It was giant, but I was using a size 2 hook, and I kind of realized that I should probably have a size 1 after that, because the first fish that I caught, my 19 and a quarter, the hook popped off like right as I was netting it. So I mean, and once I changed up that hook, it worked for me the entire rest of the day.
But a 22-inch spot.
It was giant.
But that's like hooking a damn alligator.
It was it was giant.
That's a wild ass fish. Like, good luck trying to take a picture the first 5 minutes that fish is on the board.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking, but I knew, like, I mean, it happened really early in the morning, and it could have either, messed my day up completely, or like, I had to move past it and just focus on getting more. I knew they were there. I mean, it's just a matter of catching them and landing them, I guess.
Both of y'all catch any largemouth at all, or was it all spots?
For me, I did not catch any largemouth. During practice, I saw some. During the tournament, I saw some too, but I couldn't get them to bite. I don't know if they saw me before I saw them, but no, all mine were spots.
I caught about 4 20-inch largemouth on tourney day. I just didn't submit them. Nobody did. But,
thought it was a spotted bass tournament.
Yeah.
In practice, I caught I think like 16 and a half, maybe 16 and a half in the same area. One largemouth, but everything else.
What we folks don't know is Wes handicapped himself. He made it a spot only.
Yeah. He was like, I don't want to whoop these guys too bad by catching all these largemouths, so I'm gonna catch them and hug them.
And he literally just texted me. He said the next tournament, he's only counting crappie. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
That might be one of the greatest tournament answers I've ever had. Yeah, got a bunch of
four largemouth. Yeah. No, I caught one in practice, but
mostly spot.
Yeah, mostly.
Yeah,
spot.
that's at lake, especially probably where y'all are fishing to. I mean, it wasn't what largemouth territory is. What I would guess.
Yeah, that's
St. Benny in there anyway.
Yeah, Lake Wiley is actually the closest lake to my house, and a lot of the guys in the club they make fun of me. They're like, "Wes, why are you fishing Norman all the time?" Like, Wiley's right here with all these big largemouth. But when I first started fishing, bass fishing, I didn't know how to fish, so I'm out there throwing rooster tails on Wiley, and every cast I'm just getting hung up. So I'm like, I'm gonna fish Norman. It's a cleaner lake. Well, then 6 months later, I learned that bass live in trees, so that So maybe Wiley is bigger. I don't know. Wiley is better. Maybe I should try it out more. I don't know. So.
Yeah. Well, I don't fish them, but what I heard is don't waste your time at Wiley. It's the www. Don't waste your time. I ain't good at onomatopoeias. But anyway,
we put that on a bumper sticker? It's the www. Don't fish at Wiley.
It's a whole nother domain. Yeah.
No kidding.
All right, Jaxton. So tell us, from your tournament, you finished second, so you obviously had a great tournament. It puts you in a position to compete for the Queen City AOI. Are you going to compete for the Queen City AOI? Did you put in for it before?
Yeah, so that was another thing. Vinny kind of talked me into becoming a member.
Of course he did. That's what a good commissioner does.
I wanted to sign up for the elite pot. Like, I signed up for it last minute, and then he said you can only do it if you're a member, I think. So I was like, I mean, I'll probably fish more, so I might as well become a member. So I'm very glad I did.
Yeah.
It stinks I missed the elite pot a little bit, and small fish. I almost had small fish too, but no, I think I'm gonna try. Unfortunately, my truck kind of blew up on the way home, so gonna be dealing with that. Well, the number 4 cylinder went out, so
that's not good.
Listen, that makes sense. My man doesn't even have a outlet behind him. There's no way he's gonna have all the cylinders.
So,
all right. So Jaxton, on this tournament, then what would you say is the one thing that put you in a position to be in the money?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was really just confidence. I guess last year wasn't a great year for me just because I wasn't able to fish and trap. And I mean, when I did fish in tournaments and stuff, I didn't do as good as I wanted to do. This year, I actually started out with a win, and then, I've been fishing quite a bit, trying to get better with live scope and work on some techniques that, I'm not too confident in since I'm like 5 minutes from Cherokee here in Jefferson City. So it was really just confidence going into the tournament and just knowing like whatever happens, and it's up to me to make the decisions. And I mean, I guess I should have made better decisions, I think, after 11 o'clock. But I mean, looking back at it, I mean, there's really nothing I could do about it.
We can only make decisions when we're there in the moment.
Yeah,
we can't make them afterwards. So
exactly,
you look at it like that. Wes, how does it feel to lose to a guy that you gave an identifier to that got talked into being an AOI member at the last minute? His engine blew up.
Well, he should have done better. And
I'm pretty sure he's probably sunk his kayak and siphoned all the water out to finish fishing. I mean,
and he's sitting over there doing homework
to a guy
now.
that
he's doing. Also, what Jaxton didn't say is he also had to leave 2 hours early because it was getting dark, and his mom said he had to come home before the lights came on.
It's all, man. I like seeing the younger guys out there. It does make me a little envious, but when I walked up to him and gave him that name tag, he sent me a message the night before. I was describing my little GMC terrain, whatever. He's like, "Yeah, I got this with a wrapped kayak," and I'm like, "Oh, he just means he got a cover on it." No, it's like
wrapped. Yeah,
the back mirror said "Hobie," and I was like, "Who is this?" Like, I thought I was just helping somebody out, and then.
Yeah, how does man got no damn identifier? So Wes, how about you? I think Benny said this was the first time you had gotten in the money in a trail event. Am I right on that?
In the trail event, I've won like the native event that we did. It's not an actual trail event. Yep. I think I won a free entry there.
A couple of whatever.
Yep. Yeah, a couple of the Queen City monthlies I've placed real, and then some other clubs I've got like first and second place. Yeah, this is my first official. Good. Trail event win, thank God. So, but Jim and
last in the money. Semantics.
Yeah. I showed this.
Did you put in?
Go ahead. Show it off again. Show it off again.
Yeah. Show it off. There we go.
Yeah. Show it off again.
I showed this to like a family member. They're like ninth, though. Like ninth.
It's like a participation award. You're right. Yeah. You're not helping the millennial thing, bud.
I know. So. But no, I think.
Did you put in for AOI because you put yourself in a position to be able to compete for that?
Yeah, man. I'm all in. Good, sure. I'm a paid member trying to do AOI, and I'm even doing the. So Bryson West Fish and my partner Bryce, we actually are doing the team event. We landed second place finish with the team event.
So that team event pays out a little bit too.
Yeah, but you gotta get first on that one. They don't give you participation money. So.
Yeah, it's not like the real trail. I mean, I will say, out of all of this, as an outsider, I'm not even from the area. I'm a fan of both of you guys, and I can't wait to. Hopefully, you guys are here. You guys do the tournaments every month, right?
Yeah.
I should probably fucking know this, but
there's there's once a month with the main event, and then we've got like a Western and a Southern division.
Yeah.
And so
I can't wait to hopefully talk to both you guys next month when we have the next winners on. But I'm rooting for Jaxton and West at this point. Like, I'm adding it I mean, I'm rooting for you guys more than Tori, Ryan, and Dustin because
Appreciate
they're
it.
Alex
not really good.
always roots for the people, the most current people we have on the
Yeah.
podcast for this.
Yeah. It's
He
called
really
marketing. Paul.
makes them feel good about themselves. About I'm gonna root for you, but
Yeah.
he's only rooting for you if you do good. If you don't do good enough to like, be good, he doesn't root for you anymore. He calls you
No.
out on the podcast
Yeah,
like he did
100%.
The historian and the historian's husband, and then hand job adventures.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so one, the historian, I mean, she's got something to live up to already, which is the Bass and Brews historian. Her husband Ryan has a uber successful YouTube channel, and then
But he's not Ryan. He is the historian's husband.
Yeah, 100% on this show. Yeah, he's the historian's assistant. The assistant to the assistant, the intern to the assistant. And then we have poor Dustin, he's really good at hand-ons adventures.
Hand job adventures. We can't make it any better than that.
I was trying to Yep. Yeah. All right, boys. We're at the end of
parting
this.
Word.
Parting words. Jaxton, I want you since you won. Since you won, you get to go last. Wes, you get to go first. Give any shout outs you'd like to give.
Yeah, man. I tell you, when I got up there to get this award, I've sitting there and watched these guys grab these things for a year, and I've always thought, well, this is what I'm going to say when I get up there. I got up there, and it was like, shit. Wasn't working. I'd told people what I did that day. They already knew that, and I just walked away. But I didn't really get.
But also, you were a little. Hold up. You're a little to be uncouth, constipated too. You had pooped in like 8 days.
Oh, you're going to bring that up?
Oh, okay. Dude. Well, hold on.
Message me to bring it up.
But that wasn't on the podcast. I was like, are we going to talk about?
Listen, if you guys want to, maybe we'll talk about that another time.
Not pooping. I'm like, yes, this is Bass and Brews.
No,
it's a real thing. But if you guys want to figure out how to really fix constipation on the water, you got to go roll back to. We had a couple episodes back with Joe Cremel. Totally broke down how to fix that.
Yes.
It includes
how bad
it includes chugging extremely cold water outside as soon as you wake up. Yep.
It works.
It works. I've been doing it since that podcast episode. I've been doing it. What happens is I go outside. It's cold outside right now, right? So I go outside.
In New Jersey.
Yeah. It's like 20 degrees. I go outside in just shorts and a t-shirt with a cup of water, and I chug it outside. I come inside. I start to make the coffee. I instantly have to blow my brains out.
All right.
And if that doesn't work, you take 9 servings of Imodium, and you won't poop for 3 weeks.
Yeah. I think Paul was
ahead,
asking
Wes.
earlier. Yeah,
Shout
what are
him
your
out.
30-day secrets? I was like, well, not to use the bathroom on the water, take some Imodium before, and then it's 3 days later and you still haven't pooped. But you won ninth place. So, but
I paid my entry fee and got to buy a couple one knockers.
Yeah. No, I think it was just it was my home lake, but just practicing just worked out, putting in the hours and practicing.
We talking about practice?
Yeah, we're talking about practice.
All right.
Practice. We're talking about practice. But yeah, so that just paid off for me. But I'm super grateful for the club. Like I said, my partner Bryce and I, we're a little unique. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of us out there, and this Queen City has just really accepted us and made us feel like we're part of the family. We really do feel like we are part. So I think this coming Friday, we should have a video about the tournament. It'll either be the practice video or the actual tourney video. Y'all can follow us on YouTube at Bryce and West Fishing. So yeah, check it out.
Say that again, Bryce and Wes.
Bryce,
you want to spell it out for us?
BRYCE and AND, not the and symbol, WES. Bryce and West Fishing.
Solid.
Don't look at the symbol on my shirt for Bryce and West Fishing.
I wasn't going to say that. I wasn't going to say that, Paul.
Jackson, all right, you got anybody to shout out?
Hold on, Wes. Where else can we find you? That's your YouTube.
Oh, yeah, man. You can use the same handle.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can Google it, and it's all the same. Bryson West Fishing. It's on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Yeah, so
And
all the
y'all put out a lot of content too. I mean, you put out a lot of stuff in general.
every Friday at 7 a.m. Eastern, there's at least a 5-minute fishing video there. Sometimes the videos are 30 to 45 minutes, but we try to keep it relevant. And every day we have daily shorts, so just quick little 10-second. But every Friday,
So
7 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is exactly the same thing as Bass and Brews, except it's 5 a.m. Except when Alex was gone, as I was in charge, it was sometime between 12 a.m. Friday morning and 11 p.m. Friday
He's a liar.
night.
Yeah.
That it went
That's
out.
exactly right, actually. I was going to say he's a liar, but he's exactly right.
That time is relative to the amount of time that I had to make it happen.
That was your fault. We're not going to get into family business in front of guests.
In front
Jaxton,
of
would you like to shout out anybody? Or shout out whatever, not anybody, but whatever you want to shout out. Like,
yeah, this is your time to shine, Jackson.
No, thank you guys for having me on. I mean, big shout out to Queen City and Vinny. Definitely a top-notch trail. I mean, like I said before, it doesn't even seem like a local trail. It seems more like a national trail, which I mean, I'd consider it as one. And during the tournament, my Revo sunglasses were definitely a huge factor for me to be successful, and my St. Croix rods and Cigar line, all big things for me during the tournament. And Trocar, my hooks I was using were the Pro V bends. I would start out with the size 2 and then had to move to size 1, but got the fish in the boat.
I use Cigar too, man. Maybe you can talk to him, help me out. I use some Cigar. Caught on.
Yeah,
I think maybe get higher than 9th and it'd help you out.
Oh, this is brutal.
Hey, Jackson, where can we find you on the social medias, man?
Yeah, my Facebook is Jaxton or Fishing, whatever, and then Instagram's Jaxton or Fishing. I post more on Facebook, but I mean Instagram, I'll post like the main things. Like
any YouTube?
I don't know.
This is the only 20-year-old that I've ever heard say I post more on Facebook than Instagram. That's literally the first for me ever on this show.
All right, so we are now officially knighting Jaxton Orr as Peepaw Jaxton Orr because he posts on Facebook.
He's the oldest. He's the oldest
20-year-old in kayak bass fishing. Hey, Jackson, real quick before we get out of here, talk about the benefit tournament that you did this past year and what's coming up this year.
Yeah, so I've been doing that charity tournament. I think it's been 5 years now, I'm pretty sure. But this past year, we had like right under 110 anglers sign up, raised around $3,000 for charities. We've done a lot better in the past, but, you know, with everything I had going on last year, it was hard for me to promote it. So I was very happy with the turnout. We had over $2,000 in prizes, sponsor prizes that the top 6 got. But yeah, I am planning to have it again this year. I don't know when. It was a little later last year, but I think I might do it a little earlier this year, and maybe in the future. I don't know, but I might have 2 a year. Just got to figure that out.
Okay. Speaking of benefit tournaments, hold on. Speaking of benefit tournaments, go to Tourney X, Rowan's, and I messed up this name so bad.
You did. Rowan.
I said Rowan,
what did you
but it's
say?
Rowan.
Rowan.
Yeah,
Rowan.
But go check out Rowan's Heroes Tourney
X
for Jeff Malot's granddaughter. If you think you're going to go fish, even if you don't think you're going to go fish this month, put in for it. They have a GoFundMe page too. Tourney X. We'll put the Tourney X link in the show notes for this show, but go check that out. Go put in for it if you can. Go donate if you can through, the other links. But go check that out, guys. We appreciate y'all being here. This was wonderful. 2023, the kickoff of Queen City. Alex, what you got, Hoss?
No, you were supposed to say it. It was supposed to be the kickoff of the Queen City Chronicles and you mess it up yet again. You are literally the worst